In 2010, you had a life-threatening accident that changed the way you see life, the world, also the way you see food and cooking. Can you tell me the story of it?
Yeah. So 2010, I was 37. I had opened the restaurant in 2004, and I had loved the restaurant world, loved it. But I didn't really want to grow a restaurant company. That wasn't my goal. And so I went back into technology, and I had gone from something that I love to something that I like. For me, it was like chewing sawdust every day. I just couldn't believe that I had gone from that, had changed my life. I had gone back into technology, and now I do work in technology, and I do love it. But I found a better relationship with it. But I was really unhappy. From the outside, I was a sort of CEO of a hot startup, but from the inside, I was just very unhappy. And I was in Jackson Hole, and I was doing these very aggressive snowboard runs, and I'm at the time a pretty good aggressive snowboarder. And I remember saying to myself, "Look, I've got kids. I need to chill on this." The next day was Valentine's Day. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. I'm just gonna have a nice day with the family and my wife at the time. And we went to a children's run. You do the inner tube run, and the tubes are small, but everyone uses the same tube. So I'm 6'5", and my kids are 4 years old, and everyone uses the same size tube. That should have been a message to me not to get on this thing. But I went and got on it, and on the first run, and I went down, and you're going super fast, 35 miles an hour, and the tube hit the braking mats, and it stopped. The little tube just stopped where it was. It just threw me. My head was facing downhill, so that's created the wrong center of gravity. So instead of braking, it just threw me. I landed on my head. My head went into my chest, like compression into my chest, like down like that. I ruptured my spine at C6 and C7. And in like the blink of a second, I was paralyzed. I was like what? Just like impossible to comprehend. And they take me, put this big thing on my halo on my head, and they take me to the hospital, which was more of a medical clinic. And I'm just like, what was going on here?
Do you remember your thoughts from the moment it happened to what you got to the hospital?
I remember so this is one of the things that actually the doctor said caused the most damage was I was thrown from the tube, and I heard this big crunch sound in my body, and I knew that I was hurt, but I didn't feel any pain. That's also like, why wouldn't you feel pain? Because you don't have paralyzed, you don't feel pain. And I'm face down on the snow, and the snow is burning my face because you can't do that. You need something, and I found a way to turn myself around so that my face wouldn't be on the ground, but I knew I couldn't move. And that they said actually caused more damage than, obviously the accident created the opening, but once you move your body, the blood goes into the spinal column at a faster rate, and that is what caused my paralysis. But I remember that, and I remember getting into the ambulance.
Did you think you were going to die at that, like in those seconds, minutes?
It was a different feeling of death. It was more of a, what is going on here? Like it was more like I can't make sense of what's going on. It was there was a moment when I got to the hospital, and they did this MRI, and the doctor comes up to me and says, "Look, we've done this MRI, and so I'm now I'm in the hospital, and I'm like, I can't move, but I also don't feel any pain." So I'm like, it's very confusing. Your body looks like you can move it. Like, look, see how I'm moving my hand? Like, it looks like you can do that, and then it just doesn't move. It doesn't. There's no feedback loop that it's not moving. Your brain even thinks it's moving, but it's not moving. It's like the worst, like most terrifying thing. So the doctor says, look, the way you broke your neck was really at a 0-degree angle. That is so rare. But as a result, there is no twisting of the spine. We think that we can get the blood out of your spinal column, and you should get some or maybe all of your movement back. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I'm going to be fine. I guess I'm going to be fine. And then I realized I had tears just streaming down the side of my face. And I was like, whoa, man, I have no idea what is going on.
So this kind of intense state of confusion, I wonder if it's like a weird psychological defense mechanism of like taking you away from the obvious possibility of death.
Yeah, it was for sure. All of the defenses were up. I don't know how else to describe it, but there was denial.
Yeah,
there was there was this curiosity of like, why is there no pain?
Mm-hmm.
Like that when they did actually repair me and fix me, that was 3 days later. The pain was indescribable. How much pain I was in, but there was no pain for 3 days.
It's just like, the human body is fascinating,
man.
Wow. So they were able.
Yeah, so they did the surgery, but I had this very clear voice in my head that I've kind of determined that it's God. I'm not religious, but I don't know how else to describe the voice. Mm-hmm. And this voice was very clear. You're going to work with kids and food. I'm like, okay, well, where did that come from? I'm like, tech CEO, I have a restaurant, and then we were working with some kids in schools with like some, helping a local nonprofit. And he's like, no, you're just going to work on kids and food. And my good friend Antonio and my brother were in the hospital, and I was like, I'm going to work on kids and food. And because they were like, he's crazy, he lost his mind. But not that they would argue. No one was arguing with me, but I was like, I'm just going to do that. I need to say it out loud. Mm-hmm. And I remember resigning from my job as the CEO from the hospital. And that was it. It was just clear. It was a clear voice. It wasn't for a moment, wasn't like a flash of light or anything. It was probably 2 weeks of clear voice.
Of clarity.
Clarity. Exactly, clarity. And no monkey brain. Nothing. No monkey brain, just clarity.
So you're not a religious person, but you do call it the voice of God. Who is that God, do you think? Like, who is that?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Well, I've done ayahuasca, and I've spoken to what they call Mother Aya, mm-hmm. which is another version of God. It's a divine presence. I think is a better way to say it. I've also had this debate in my head, like, maybe it's just me. I'm talking to me, and it's my peaceful, more kinder, less caught up in the emotion of the day version of me. Maybe it's me. Okay, maybe it is, but it's there.
But who are you? Like, how deep does it go? What does you mean? You could be, first of all, like, the depth of what the human mind even is a gigantic mystery. Consciousness, all of it.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? So, like, yeah, maybe it is you, but then maybe in order to build you, we need to build the universe.
Yeah.
And the entire, like, you are actually fundamentally a part of this whole human society. So the pieces of humans that you've interacted with are all within you. And then maybe the history of the humans that came before are also in there. And maybe the entirety of life on Earth is also in there.
Yeah.
And whatever whatever brought life about on Earth is in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's all you.
Yeah. All of the which is really true. Evolution is literally true that we all are. The photons from the sun came in,
you're
and we
part
all,
fish.
We all came from that. I think this one, So one of the things I do is meditate, and I've been meditating for many, many years. And what way I meditate is I sit and I listen to my thoughts, and I simply just do that for 15 to 20 minutes. And it just calms the nervous system, and I might breathe and just breathe through because it's been a stressful day, and it's just a beautiful way to. I kind of do it around. I remember I said I used to do a scotch at the bar after work. Now I go meditate, for instance. It's a little less, a little bit better for my for my health. But meditation, I was taught was Sam Harris actually taught me this. Was not so much just about watching your thoughts, but realizing that you're a watcher. You're actually a watcher. You're not just like who is the person watching that? That's you, actually. Your thoughts are floating through your mind, but you are the watcher. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so I'm going to learn that. I'm going to be the watcher. And what I learned was, I'm watching these thoughts go by, and there's a consistent other presence. And I'm like, what is that consistent other presence? It's not a thought. That is not something I can kind of let it float away, and it doesn't even want to float away. It's just a consistent other presence that I can watch and feel.
So you are the watcher watching the feelings and thoughts, but there's also an other presence next to you almost.
Yes. Yeah, that's how I feel. And it's a beautiful presence. It's not a presence that is trying to intervene. It's not a presence that is trying to tell you what to do. It's just a beautiful presence.
And that might be the thing, part of the thing you met when you took ayahuasca.
I learned about Mother Aya, where you have this experience of talking to. Actually, I would say the closest thing to breaking my neck, that feeling, was ayahuasca.
Can you go through that experience? Because I'm actually traveling to the Amazon jungle in a month. I'll probably do ayahuasca for the first time.
Okay.
So I need a preview, unofficial instruction manual.
Yes, sure. So first of all, I think many, many different ways to do it, right? So, and I've done many, many different ways. There's a very Western medicine approach where you have doctors that look after you during the day. You know, put an eye mask on, you're on a futon, and you really are in a Western medicine setting. And it's, frankly, for me, has been the most powerful experience. I feel the most comfortable because I'm part of Western medicine in my upbringing. The other extreme, but they're kind of in between, would be probably a Peruvian ceremonies where you're going to go. Very much about, you do it in a community, you do it with others, and you feel people go through their pain and their processing. So I know the whole gamut, but the thing that I found most powerful about it, and profoundly powerful, I would say. First of all, it's non-recreational, so no one should do this for a good time. This is not a good time. This is a very
almost traumatic, but in a beautiful way.
I was actually going to say that word, but it's not. It's not traumatic. It's profound. So it's more like you don't have. You really leave who you were before behind, and then you become the person you will be afterwards.
And that's never an easy thing.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes what I recall was arguing with Mother Aya and saying, "No, I'm fine. Like, what are you talking about? Like, leave me alone." And how
did that work out?